Hi, you guys. Welcome back. My name is Carrie Penny. I am the Happy Crafty Homemaker, and welcome to another crafty chat. So today we're going to be discussing things I've learned doing the yarn subscription box unboxings and review series here on my channel. And we will be answering, or I will be answering, some of the questions that you guys asked when I asked for the questions that you guys had. Some of the things we're not going to be including is going to be the anything individual to specific boxes. This is a general overview kind of conversation. Also, we're not going to be discussing kind of the budget for these because a lot of these have wide scale of budget, and based on what your budget, and I mean, that's always going to be a personal thing. Some of the things right out of the gate that, are the obvious, goes without saying generally is, I mean, I understand that these aren't going to fit into everybody's budget. If you have a smaller budget for crafting, yes, you're definitely going to want to go ahead and purchase yarns specifically for what you're doing or what you plan on doing. I would personally say the risk involved in doing subscription boxes where you don't know if you're necessarily going to like something a whole lot, probably not the best way to spend your budget. You spend your yearly budget. So I do want to kind of say that up front. I mean, not everybody has the budget to be able to take that kind of risk. Now, there is an inherent risk with these subscription boxes. And that's one of the reasons why I always say I'm looking to see a 20 to 25% discount of the total retail value of what's in these subscription boxes. And that kind of affords for where we're putting our money up front without knowing what we're getting. Now, there are some subscription boxes that do sneak peeks, so you can see if you like what you're getting that month and skip a month if you don't like it. But that is really a very small percentage of these that I have seen so far. And it does tend to be some of the more expensive boxes like Yarn-Yay, Yarnable, where the investment is a lot up front. And I like that touch. I think it's really nice. Also, something I have discovered that I really love about some of these independent dyers subscription boxes is we have the option of picking some combination of what we're getting in the box, whether it be, like Southern Skeins, where we can choose sock yarn, not sock yarn, Yarnable, where we can pick one or two skeins of whatever we're getting. Same thing with Southern Skeins, the option to build the box we want. Like when I did the Southern Skeins review series, I knew I wanted to get two skeins because I wanted to do not sock yarn after coming off of doing Yarnable. Yarnable, I did sock yarn only, and it does limit you as you go up in the weight of yarn what you can and can't make, even though I still ended up making a whole bunch of shawls out of it. So I personally, that's one of the things, if I were buying a box just for myself, I would actually prefer to see. I've got a lot of people in my life whose color palette isn't necessarily mine. So like very autumnal colors are generally, the oranges and the yellows and the browns are generally not my personal color preference. I tend to obviously go for things like pinks, blues, and purples, as you see, like some of the smattering of what I have here. So I don't mind taking the risk on color palette because I can always make something as a gift for somebody specifically in my life out of what I get. When I did Mountain Meadow Wools, we got that beautiful coral color with the cream to do a mosaic shawl pattern. And I ended up gifting that to my mom because that is 100% right up her color alley. Coral tends to make me look a little sallow. So as much fun as I had knitting the shawl, and I still would have worn it, like it was very beautiful. I still have the pattern and we'll probably go back and make that pattern again, but it was really more her colors, and I gifted that to her for Christmas last year. So I don't mind personally taking a risk on the color. I would rather ensure that I'm getting a yarn weight that's and the amount of hanks that are going to allow me to make the project I really want to make out of a project. So I have really enjoyed the last couple boxes where we've been able to make those choices. I mean, for $45 a month, I was getting 2 skeins with Southern Skeins and, the little stitch marker and tee and stuff like, little extras, but really the investment was in the yarn. And I was perfectly happy being able to choose to not have sock yarn, even though we got 2 DKs and 1 bulky. Not a huge bulky person, but I love what I made out of it, and I loved the colorway. Just being able to make that choice of having 2 skeins instead of 1 made it to where that was very easy for me to come up with a project that was substantial, especially when I'm making that kind of investment in the fiber I'm using. The pattern of the month was a cup cozy, and I would just really hate to sink that yarn into something like that. I could have done an ear warmer or something else, but having that option to pick 2 skeins, knowing that bulky was an option, really allowed me to have flexibility in what I could make with that subscription box. So really investigate, if you're considering a subscription box, really investigate what your options are with that box. Go to the website. Another thing in your investigations, and I've kind of hit on this over the last review series a lot, is find somebody you vibe with. Really find somebody that you vibe with, especially when it comes to the independent dyers. You can get a really great feeling for what colors they choose, what types of yarns they go with, what kind of is their inspiration as their dyeing yarns. As I've said, like for me, when I discovered Hypnotic Yarns and the Yarnable subscription box, I try to go in blind for these, or as blind as possible for these. And I just happened to luck out being able to get that box when I did. But when I started going through her Instagram and started looking at things when she was doing shop updates and what she was putting up in her shop, I really vibe with Cheryl's style. I really vibe with the inspiration she goes with and the things she picks. Everything's been very seasonally appropriate. While I probably would not, once again, go with an apple, Macintosh apple kind of, or Fiji apple kind of look, this is something I would easily wear. This is something I would easily be drawn to just because it looks juicy. It's very fun. And, like I said, I could have skipped the month if I didn't like it, but I do like it. I like it a lot. But when you gel with a designer like that, and I've discussed, even doing the bag subscription box with T-Doddles, I love Christy Cook's choice in fabric. Like, I know every month I'm going to be like, just because I love the fabric she chooses for these bags. When you find a designer like that you just vibe with, they pick colors you enjoy. They're always doing something interesting to you. When you see shop updates, you're excited about what they're putting out, excited about what they're releasing. 90% of what they're doing, you're just like, I want it. I can't justify buying all of it, but I want it. That's probably where you should be putting your money. That's really, if you're looking for something for those special projects, if you're looking for things to have on hand for those special projects. There are boxes I would say are great for things like stash building. That's a little bit more of a nebulous area. We did Mary Maxim last year. Obviously, I've done Knit Crate over and over. Knit Crate. Oh, these are up here. They're where, and then I've got some Knit Crate sock. I got lots of Knit Crate yarn. I was subscribed to them for 3 years, and they were one of the first subscription boxes that I did just because at the time they were the gold standard of subscription boxes. For me, a lot of the things that they were sending out before, during, and since, the pick your color vibe things, really were stash builders. And, I could look at this and be like, this is a cotton blend. I really only need maybe 2-3 skeins of that. Because if I'm doing a tank top, I need 3. If I'm doing a shawl, 2 is all I need. So I was able to buy extras if I really liked what I got and thought I was really going to use it. But by and large, I would consider that to be very much a stash builder kind of subscription box, because you're not just buying into the subscription box, you're also getting an opportunity with their storefront to purchase extras of the yarn generally. I know recently it's been a little hit or miss, but generally speaking, while I've subscribed to them, you could easily purchase for like another 25% off some extra yarn, or wait for the double down deal and get another 50% off. I know all of this has kind of changed over the last 18 months, but that's, to me, really was a stash building subscription box. Mary Maxim, like I said, is also another way to build stash yarns. While I didn't personally, I wasn't hyper keen on it, because you cannot buy most of those yarns again. I know that they have been putting more of their own brand into the boxes, which I'm really excited to see. They are generally sending out discontinued yarns that you can no longer purchase. Some of these yarns are 2-3 seasons out from when they were discontinued. We did also get some that were not sold domestically in the US, so finding them would be very difficult for a lot of their subscribers. I know there are a few people overseas in Europe who were able to find things like the Gima yarns and stuff like that, but if you're in the States, it's really, really hard to find those. So if you did want extras, you really couldn't get it. So if you didn't like the project and you didn't have enough to do what you wanted to do, you were kind of left in limbo land. But if you just want a bunch of yarn at a really good price and you don't care whether or not you can purchase extras, like that's a really good stash builder. I mean, we did get a wide variety of yarns. We got cotton, we got novelty, we got some wool, some acrylic. I mean, we had a variety between the crochet box and the knit box, a wide variety of yarn offerings at a very reasonable price. In some cases, they were almost 50 to 60% off of retail for what we received. So, you know, there is like, I want the special project. I want yarn to make that special thing for myself, or have the opportunity to gift somebody who is good yarn worthy, a quality, somebody who's going to take care of wool, you know, a quality gift for them. And then we've also had boxes that, like I said, they're stash builders. The yarn is fine. There's nothing wrong with the yarn, but like you might not open it and be like, yes, I can't wait to work with this. I've got ideas out the wazoo. I'm going to make all the things. Yeah. You're not going to be that excited about it, but you are stash building, and that there is a time and a place for both mindsets. I think this isn't a, only one way of thinking about things kind of thing. That's why we have variety in the boxes. Some, you know, we've got some, I've done some mills like Mountain Meadow Wool. They specifically try to work with domestic fiber producers. They mill the yarn and send it out in their boxes, and obviously sell the yarn on their website. We've got, you know, things like Crochet Surprise, where they were using a lot of domestic big box yarns in their boxes. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's a huge variety of what is out there. And I think different companies are trying to capture different parts of the market. They're trying to entice you to get to know their brand. They want you to understand who they are as a company and what they really are offering outside of their subscription boxes. And I think that's a wonderful way to be. And it is important to recognize, you know, there are different reasons for different boxes. Like I said, at the end of the Crochet Surprise, I didn't think the value was great for purchasing it for yourself. But if you have a crafty friend who is maybe hitting a rut, they've lost their Crojo, something like Crochet Surprise would be an excellent gift. It's a nice quality gift. The patterns are, that is one of the few boxes where we saw range in the pattern difficulty. There were some beginner patterns and there were some very difficult patterns. So, you know, we had a nice range on what they were offering as far as skill building and an experience. And plus, you know, curated teas every month was always nice. Can't say that I was opposed to that. But the personal value when you buy it yourself, you're basically paying retail for it. I didn't think the value was great as a subscription box, but as a gift to give to someone else, or a gift like you don't know what you want and somebody's begging to send you something, that would be an excellent option. I mean, it was fun, it was exciting, it was different, and you had video tutorials and written patterns. And looking back through the pattern library of all the offerings they had before I started my subscription, I can tell you there is great diversity in the pattern difficulty. So if you're really looking for a kit where you get the yarn and the pattern together, and that's really what you're focusing on as a kit, not a bad option. I mean, it really isn't. And then we've got other ones where you're really getting yarn. I mean, Yarnable, really you're getting yarn. I mean, that's what you're purchasing into. Yarn and a couple extras. Now, when it comes to extras, so this is a hard one for me because I do enjoy most of the extras I have gotten. I like seeing durable, long-term goods being added in. I don't think more than 20% of the value should be in extras, which we have seen quite a bit in some of these subscription boxes, that significantly more than 20% of the retail value, 20 to 25%, is in extras. And that is where a lot of these companies can get the price down while offering a lot of different things. I would rather see, something a little different occasionally. Not just, stitch markers, scissors, point protectors. Because eventually, even if you stay with a box for an extended period of time, you're going to hit your threshold of how many of these things do you need. I mean, I lose tapestry needles like nobody's business, but I think now in 3 years of doing subscription boxes, I have like 2 whole packs that are, came one needle at a time in projects. But I do like it when your subscription box is more of a kit, like Crochet Surprise, Crochet Society. Those were really designed to be kits. So you could just take your box from the mailbox, get in the car, go on vacation, and everything you needed was right there to make a project. So I say that with the caveat, subscription box versus subscription kit. And that's something you're going to have to investigate the company a little bit more. Don't watch one review. Don't just like watch me or watch anybody else and just do this one review. Really investigate what other people have gotten. Are they high quality items? Are you getting a lot of damaged product from a company? You really do your investigation before you start doing a subscription box. And that way you can save yourself a lot of headache and a lot of heartache. So I had not really done subscription boxes until I started reviewing them. I had done 2 monthly things or bi-monthly things with Eat, Sleep, Knit more than 10 years ago. I did their Malbrigo and their 6 Kingdom clubs. And that, like I said, I mean, it's more than 10 years ago. And I was in a very different place in my mindset of what I wanted. And I knew what I wanted out of those before I purchased them. So when I decided to do the Malbrigo, it was just give me yarn for cheap. I had fallen in love with Malbrigo. That was the first higher end yarn I had really used and was just head over heels in love with it. It was reasonably priced. It still is compared to a lot of LYS yarns. Malbrigo is still a very reasonably priced yarn. It's very, very competitive. And some of their colorways are just incomparable to anything else. They really are spectacular. And I love single ply loose twist yarns. I love that roving style yarn. So for me, I really wanted more of that yarn and I wanted to experience more of what they offered. Now, at the time, they did not have the number of lines they do now. Things like Rasta, the multiply sock yarn, those had not been released yet. So the primary thing really was still different weights of the single ply yarn that were kettle dyed, Peruvian kettle dyed wool. but I was really investing in getting that yarn. That was the goal. When I did the Six Kingdoms Club, I was a new knitter, and these were all going to be knit patterns. And I really wanted to start learning new techniques. I wanted to try new things. I wanted to experience something I didn't know how to get for myself at the time. I think Ravelry was still in its burgeoning baby years, so trying to find patterns was very difficult if you didn't know where to look for good quality patterns. And at the time, finding the updates for a lot of published patterns and books, there were a lot of errors. They were not being properly tech edited, with the exception of companies that were very specifically geared to yarn crafting, like Interweave Press. Their tech editing has always been excellent, but a lot of these books we were getting, there were all sorts of errors. It was very difficult to follow some of the patterns. They weren't written using standard formatting in a lot of cases. So it was a very confusing zone of how to do things, especially when you aren't confident enough as a knitter to know how to fix things as you come across them. I mean, I've grown substantially as a knitter since then, and as a crocheter, and it was kind of a weird period of time when I started knitting. And for me, having the opportunity, it was a small company. You could easily have contact with the designer. If there was a problem, you could email or get in with a thread with a bunch of other people and start talking with them about what the problems were. Well, back in the days of chat rooms where like Saturday we'd meet up and be like, yeah, I'm working on this and I'm having a problem with this. So I was looking for something very specific at that time when I did those, and those boxes were fantastic for me. But that's all I had done before I started doing these reviews. And the whole reason I started the review series is I kept seeing the same questions over and over and over again. Is it worth it? Do you use it? Do you like what you get? What do you really think of this? Because a lot of people they'll partner with a company. They'll get a lot of boxes in, and they unbox them and share what they got and be like, oh, I love this color. Ooh, this yarn is soft. Ooh, this is squishy. But they never really discussed using it. And then in 6 months to a year, you'd start seeing those same products pushing through their stash, and now it's in part of a giveaway, or it's a prize for a make-along or something like that. Nobody was really using them and discussing whether or not you're getting a wide variety of patterns. Or is this really a skill building kit? Is this a kit or a yarn subscription box? Nobody was really discussing those things at the time. So I really wanted to start exploring that and answering the question, is it worth it? And where's the value? So that's why all of my reviews have had the math breakdown of retail value or anticipated retail value versus what we're actually paying and how that breaks down overall. Are we saving money? Are we not saving money? Are we losing money in some cases? That's really where this whole thing came from to begin with, was answering the question of value. Now, as I've mentioned before in some of the unboxing videos and final reviews, value is personal value is subjective. Retail value is not. Like if I went out because I want to buy this thing, I'm going to pay X dollars. But when you're evaluating personal value for these, what are you willing to pay? I know a lot of people say, Crystal, they will reply to what I say saying, Crystal says the same thing. But it's very true. If you're not willing to pay $22 for a hank of wool yarn, then paying $30 for a subscription box or $20 for a subscription box where you get a hank of wool yarn is never going to be a good personal value for you. That doesn't mean the yarn isn't worth that. It doesn't mean that that's not what it costs to make it, costs to produce it, costs to sell it, costs to ship it. It doesn't mean that it's not worth it. It's not worth it to you. And that's fine. everybody has their own point where, like I refuse to pay more than $30 for a single hank of anything, really. I mean, unless I'm really just have to have cashmere in a project, I'm not going to spend that much on yarn. And even if I do want cashmere, I'm probably waiting for a really good clearance sale to come along because I'm cheap. I'm cheap. Let's be honest. 90% of what you see here was purchased at 60% off or more. I'm cheap. So I'm not going to go out and pay more than what I'm willing to pay for something. And everybody has their own personal threshold of where that is. So when I talk about value on here, I'm talking about retail value. And we've seen the market shifting over the last 18 months. I know Europe and Canada saw it almost immediately. Here in the States, it's been a slow incline path. And as the supply chain has kind of broken down in certain areas, we are seeing price hikes from that as well. And things are becoming harder and more expensive to source. So the prices going up on a lot of these subscription boxes just because the yarn prices are going up. I know I've mentioned the price for yarn bases in a lot of cases. They've gone up as much as 50%. So we are seeing the prices rise on a lot of things, and we'll start seeing more of the big box yarns start to rise. I have a feeling some of the things we're used to seeing for $9.99 regular price, in the next year, we'll start seeing the prices start shifting more to an $11.99, $12.99 price range, just to catch up with where the market is. A lot of the yarns that are being released now were produced as much as 2 years ago. The production line began 2 years ago. So we'll start seeing that increase continue even into big box yarns as we continue going on. I'm sure like that's just how the market is. That's how the market works. But personal value versus retail value. It is what it is. And I know it sounds kind of snobby or like indecisive to say that depending on how you're hearing the tone of my voice, but it's neither. It is a fact of being. It just is. It just is across the board. There's nothing wrong with having a personal cap. I have plenty of personal caps on what I'll spend and what I won't spend across everything in my life. I've got trying to buy a dining room table right now. Trust me, I have a cap. There are some I really, really love, but they're way above my cap. Quality furniture does not come cheap. So I'm not trying to be snide, short, or indecisive or anything else when I say that if something is not worth your personal value, that's fine. Go back to the beginning of the video where I said, you have to find your personal investment. And if you really want to purchase your own yarn, find your own yarn, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing at all wrong with that. I don't think subscription boxes are made for everybody. And even if you're in the market for a subscription box, not all subscription boxes will be right for you. That's why I love seeing so many of these. And that's why I keep finding new ones to review over the course of so far 3 years now. And I haven't had a break until right now where I'm not doing a box. So we're already at 30 minutes. I was hoping to maybe cut this a little bit short, but I've been a little bit more concise about what I intended to say so far. So I do want to jump into answering questions real quick. If there's something I have not covered by the end of this video, please feel free to leave your question in the comment section down below. Reach out on Instagram or through email, and I'm not opposed to doing a second one of these where we just go over subscriber questions. I'm not looking to answer anything about a box specifically for this. This is the general concept of subscription boxes. So if you're looking for a box recommendation, this wouldn't be it's too personal. Watch the reviews out there, look for certain things. I do have one request though. If you're in the US and know of the wool-free subscription box that does natural fibers, can you send me an email? Because I know this used to exist and now I can't find it. They may not be in business anymore, but I would like to try to find a wool-free, non-acrylic or not only acrylic subscription box to look at. So hit me up if you know what I'm talking about, because I know there was one about 1.5 years ago and now I can't find it. But hit a sister up. All right. Subscriber questions. When do you know it's time to cancel a box? When you open the box and don't immediately start planning projects. I mean, obvious answer, is when you can't afford it. But if you're not excited and immediately thinking of all the things you can make with what's in that box, aside from the pattern, if you're not excited, wanting to jump up and down and just, yes, 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 time to cancel. When you start seeing repeats a lot, you've probably been with a subscription box for too long. Yeah. After 3 years, a year ago, I hit the rut and went ahead and stuck it out for an extra year. Kind of wish I hadn't. When I started getting Yarnable, like I said, I just totally vibe with her. I love the color choices she makes. I get very excited about getting my box every month. And every month when I look at the sneak peek, I'm just like, I can't wait. I can't wait. And then I get the shipping notification. I'm like, crap, I've already forgotten what's coming, but I can't wait. I can't wait. And when I open it, I'm like, oh my God, I can make a shawl. I can make socks. I can make ear warmers. I can, do I want this near my face? Do I want this I'm immediately thinking of projects that I can make with this. This one came with a pattern for a cowl. I may actually use the pattern for it because it's really pretty in the cowl, but immediately you should feel excitement, not, ooh, I got mail, but you should immediately be thinking, what can you make? What can you do? What is this going to allow me to make? And what does this yarn want to be? And you should really be excited when you open that box to dive in, even if you can't right now because you have 900 WIPs going. You should still be like regretting having to put this in your stash, putting it up for today because you really want to work with it. If you're not feeling that kind of excitement about it, it's time to cancel the box. You should really genuinely be excited and looking forward to what you're getting and excited when you open that box every month. I mean, 11 out of 12. 11 out of 12 months, you should just be, when you see it in the post box, you should be coming back into your house. And as you're opening it very carefully, you should be, and if you're not, get rid of it. Cut it out. It's going to be sad because you're not getting that monthly piece of mail, but it's time for something new. It's time to go looking for the next new thing that will bring you that kind of joy. I've already discussed economical. That's such a subjective term. It is what it is based on your budget. And that's too personal. The best deal we've seen in boxes is actually Mary Maxim. But like I said, there's no opportunity to purchase extras unless you find somebody destashing it. There's little to no opportunity for assistance if there's a problem with the pattern. And it is a big shot in the dark as to what you're getting every month. There's no rhyme or reason whatsoever to it. So that's probably on your most economical end as far as retail value versus what you're paying. But for me, that wasn't economical because I was not using or drawn to use 50% of the boxes. So research, watch unboxings, watch reviews, look at past months and really get an idea of what to expect before you purchase. And that's going to help you find the best economy for your dollar. The general question, is it worth it? For me, yes. I would say overall, most of them are dollar put in, pleasure received, totally worth it. A lot of things, I know that there are differing opinions on them, and that's perfectly fine. Once again, we all have them, and there's no wrong opinion for your life. You know your life better than I do. You know how you craft better than I do. And I can't really make that choice for you. Is it worth it or not? As far as the retail value versus what we're paying, most boxes are worth it. Most boxes, even when I don't expect to see 20 to 25% off to make up for the mystery aspect of it, most of them are still hitting at least 20% off, even with the indie dyed ones. Some we've broken even, like Mountain Meadow Wool and stuff, but the expectation was that we probably would not see a huge discount with most of these. Mouth is drying out very quickly. 36 minutes, and yeah. So, is it worth it? I would say yes, if you're the kind of person who enjoys a surprise. If you're the kind of person who enjoys that little special you buy yourself or you're gifted, then yeah, it's worth it. If you don't enjoy surprises and you really don't like not knowing what you're getting or where your money's going, absolutely not. And once again, there's nothing wrong with that. If you're in the market for that kind of thing, I would say look at reviews, see who you vibe with, see who you're feeling, think about what you really want. Do you want a kit or do you want just yarn? And then try to find the company that's providing that based on your wants, based on what you're looking for, because there is a huge variety, like I said, of what is out there. So there should be a box that is more closely aligned to your preferences. Personalization is one that I got questioned about a lot. Are there boxes that offer personalization? For color choices, by and large, no. You are at the whim of whatever they decide to pick. We have seen where Knit Crate is now, got a Pippin clawed my finger and I've got a little skin. Knit Crate is now getting ready to go back to a pick your vibe method where you can pick your color palette, cool, warm, or neutral. I don't know when they're implementing that or how soon that's going to come back. They've had it before. They're the only ones I've come across where you can pick a color or a color theme for your box. A lot of the independent dyers do sneak peeks or previews or the more higher cost boxes. I don't want to say higher end because not all of them are higher end, but the higher cost boxes like Yarn Yay, they do a sneak peek. So you have the choice to get the box or not. You can skip a month. And I think that's probably the best we're really going to see as far as color choice, is the option to skip if we don't like it. Now, I am seeing more independent dyers or small batch dyers doing a pick your yarn weight or add an extra hank. And to me, that is actually the more economical way to do it, in my mind, from their perspective. And it gives you flexibility to choose. Like I said, with Southern Skeins, doing not a sock yarn, I knew I needed 2 skeins because most projects were going to be 2 skein projects. Even if I wanted to do a big smooshy shawl or something, I really needed 2 skeins. When I got the bulky weight, I was really grateful I had done the 2 skein option. I'm seeing more of the smaller companies giving you that option, or if they're doing like a sweater and they'll kind of say we're doing a wearable. If you are an extended size, you might want to pick up 1 or 2 more skeins. Here's your option click here, and they're offering a substantial discount on the extra hanks so you can enjoy the project that's coming that month. So there is some form of personalization. It's just not with the yarn. But with those same companies, if you can't personalize the yarn, you do have the option to skip a month with no penalty. So they're releasing the sneak peeks before you're charged for the next month. I know with Yarnable, I actually get an email reminding me if I want to skip the month before I get charged. And I believe Southern Skein also has sent out reminders that the charge is coming soon, so I can go in and make a change if I need to. And I think that's wonderful customer service to give you multiple reminders to check the sneak peek and to cancel the next month if you want to, or skip the month if you want to. And I really do appreciate the fact that you're getting that reminder before you're charged, so you can always have that last minute, I just can't this month. I just can't this month. And I'm okay with that as an option. I do wish there was a way for these people to do a little bit more as far as personalization of the yarn. But the truth is it's not feasible for a lot of these companies. It is a lot of work to do that. They're not working with a bulk warehouse to dye their yarns, and it would be a lot to ask of those companies. But they have a workaround for that. So the answer is yes and no on personalization. Skill level options. So I kind of quit talking about this in my review series. And it's funny because it's only come up once since I made the choice to quit talking about it. And that was Crochet Surprise. And like I've already said, they have a very wide range of beginner to, I would say, advanced, many years of practice, advanced crochet. They have a very wide spectrum in the patterns that they offer with their kits. Most, I find, are beginner to beginners intermediate, unless you're doing a skill builder. In the past, we have seen companies that offer skill builder kits, and those do have some more advanced techniques. But by and large, I'll be honest, most of them are beginner to beginner intermediate. To me, something like Mosaic really is an advanced intermediate. So we've seen Mosaic this month, non-reviewed for Yarnable. If you did not see my show and tell where I opened this, we got a cabled cowl pattern. I keep using this just because it's still sitting on my desk. Like, this isn't a plug for them or anything. It's because it's here. I don't have any other thing sitting out here, but we got a cable cowl this month. We did actually get a pattern this month. Normally that's not standard with that box, but that is an intermediate to an advanced knitting technique. But really, I'm not seeing a huge variety unless you're doing a skill builder kit. It's something, the more you investigate a company, the more you see what their past boxes are. You can get a better feel for it. I know when I did Mountain Meadow Wool, I was looking at some past boxes, and there were other color work projects in there, and we did get a cable pattern with them too. There was a cable cowl. So, there are some variety, but not as much as I'd like to see. I would really like to see some more advanced projects, or a beginner or advanced project where you get two patterns and you can kind of choose what you do. Maybe you get a coupon code from two different designers or the same designer, and you can only purchase one of the patterns separately using the coupon code that comes in the box. I would like to see more of that, actually, because I know there are a lot of people who are, when I did the Six Kingdoms Club, the whole purpose for that for me was to expand my knitting horizon, learn things I hadn't done before, do things I hadn't done before. And I would like to see some more of that, actually, where you can start turning this into a skill builder and get more out of it than just the yarn. But I don't know how we would work that to where you don't want to alienate beginners, but at the same time, some of us been at it a while people are getting a little bored of doing the same things over and over again. It'd be nice to have a little, yeah, even if it's just a flash of something a little bit more technical. So that answers all the questions I have. I don't want to sit here and babble on at the closing. I do really want to hear what you guys think. Did I cover everything? Did I answer your questions? Do you have other questions? Like I said, I'm more than happy to do a follow-up to this. If there's more information you would like from my opinion, my point of view. Otherwise, I hope you're having a wonderful, fantastic day. I am aware that this is probably going up on Sunday instead of today, which is Saturday. I really should have double checked this yesterday, but I didn't. So I hope you're having a wonderful, fantastic weekend. Thank you so much for bearing with me and getting this up a day late. But as always, please take care of yourselves. I love you, and I will see you guys real soon. Bye, guys.